Hi everyone, welcome back. My name is Z for anybody who's new here, and I just want to say to everyone, last Thursday made my heart so full. So shout out to everyone who was at Z School for the Gifted. It was such a beautiful community for all of us to share and talk about spirituality and do all sorts of fun stuff. And just a huge shout out to folks who have been donating and just being the sweetest. Like literally all of you in the comments, I read as many of them as I can, and sometimes it takes me more than a day just to get through one video. But you all have like the most beautiful, massive souls, and I'm so happy that we've all found each other. And if you're interested in joining next week's session on Thursday, I highly recommend you do it. I usually take around 22 people is what it caps off at. And signups are already open for the next couple sessions. So come by and join us. It's so much fun. But let's talk about the Gemini full moon. So if anybody's new to full moon practices, full moons are all about illumination. So usually you set your intention with a new moon, and then you kind of reap the benefits usually around a full moon. But full moons will also help you illuminate anything that needs to be released or focused on before the next new moon, right? So it's going to be its brightest, and the new moon it's going to be the darkest. And one of the things that have been a theme for this specific Gemini full moon is like resurfacing emotions and resurfacing people, resurfacing habits that you've had that are ready to be released. I talk about this with my clients outside of full moons, but anytime you kind of have obsessive thoughts about things, like it's your body's way of telling you and your mind's way of telling you that it's ready to be released. Like it can't complete the story. So that's when you need to go in, make peace with it, complete the story so it can fully be let go of. Like now is the time to do that in your life. And when you think about Gemini, like Gemini is an air sign, it's ruled by Mercury. It's all about the mind and communication, right? Like if you look at Ayurveda, this is like Vata, the air. So this is gonna be a resurfacing likely of parts of you that have gotten in the way of your destiny before. So if you're like in the home stretch of really putting yourself out there, you might be finding in this full moon that not only are you like really striving to move forward, but you're also having thoughts that are like, are you really ready to do this? Are you going to make the right decision? Are you blah, 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 blah? Because Gemini is also about duality, right? It's the duality of ourselves, the duality of our desires, the duality of our paths. Like which way are we going to, which path are we going to choose? What do we actually want in our lives? Like what partner do we want to be with, or partners do we want to be with? Do we want new friends? Do we want a soul tribe? Do we want this house? Do we want to move overseas? Do we want to make music? Do you want to like all of these things? There's such a duality, and not that you have to choose one or the other. Like the energy is asking like what makes you happy, and there are going to be some things, right, like where you may have to choose one or the other, especially when it comes to your future or your past. Like how long are you going to hold on to your past and not move forward into your prosperity, into your abundance? How long are you going to hold on to the people who have caused you a lot of pain, and now you're like ready to soar, right? Like your beautiful soul tribe that is healthy and balanced and can't come in until you decide I'm done with the rest of these people. Like when are you going to choose yourself and finally take care of every aspect of you? Mind, body, spirit is how I like to say it with my clients. Like answer everything in mind, body, spirit. Am I going to do this? I need a mind, body, spirit. Yes, yes, yes. If it's not, then it's a no, 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 right? And the coolest thing about this full moon is also that we're in the middle of, almost at the end of Sagittarius season. So Sagittarius season, I'm a Sagittarius, if you haven't noticed. I'm a Sagittarius, and it's very fiery, it's very adventurous, it's very philosophical. So when that philosophical side meets your like Gemini side, you might get stuck in your thoughts, but you also might get a lot of creations, right? Which is why you have to be able to release that old energy and old way of thinking so you can actually use the energy of your mind and your body and your spirit to create these new manifestations moving forward. Because December is fast energy. Like if you haven't already started experiencing your manifestations in the 3D, they're probably coming any minute now. Like the minute that December started, my life just like blew up in like the best way. But December is just you are moving forward, and it's going to keep moving forward. And we've kind of been going through these phases throughout the year, and the same thing's going to happen, and it's kind of happening in like 3 to 4 month spans of time. But December kind of sits in the middle of one of them. So just make sure that you are also making decisions based around what makes you happy, what gives you the most energy, what sparks life into you when you're making those decisions when it comes to the Gemini energy within yourself, right? Like, are you going to choose the path that, you know, maybe your family wanted you to take, or maybe you were doing because it brought you the most money, but really spirit and the ancestors are over here like, hey, if you just let go, we're just going to throw money at you, right? But you have to fully trust. Are you going to lean into your spirituality? Like I know a lot of you are spiritual teachers and guides and healers, musicians, artists, activists like myself. But you have to be able to be visible. Are you going to allow yourself to be visible, or are you going to choose an old way of living and expect the same outcome, right? Like it doesn't work that way. Sagittarius is all about new things and changing. And what's also great about Gemini, since it's ruled by Mercury, like that's going to help you with this change. Like this is the energy that you need. Like if you want to transform anything in your life, like now is the time to do it. Like write down categories of your life, your romantic relationships, your friendships, your family, your career, your money, like anything you want to change in your life or focus on or set goals for now. Short sentence, now. Do it now. Make that vision board for yourself and just fully move forward. So I have a couple tips that I wanted to share with you in terms of what you could do during this full moon energy. And if for some reason you miss, you know, your altar work, or you're not able to get out with a full moon, Mondays are always the best day to catch that second wave of like moon energy, because Monday is moon day. So whenever the full moon is and there's a close Monday, that would be the Monday that you would want to catch it on. So that's always something to keep in mind. But the first thing is clear your physical space. So go around and literally scrub your surfaces, get rid of dust, get rid of shit you don't need. Why do you have a handful of thumbtacks over there? Like, what are those Post-its for? You know what I mean? Like, don't just organize stuff and put them away so that they're just there. Like, ask yourself, do I need these things, or would someone else benefit from these things? When was the last time I used this? Is it an old part of me to just hoard everything, right? Or can you live a much more happy life if you let go of a bunch of things? Like I have for the longest time, I don't do it anymore, except like the last like year I stopped doing it. But I was always moving around, and when you move, you got to move all your furniture. And so I decided that I never wanted furniture again, at least for this phase of my life. I don't have furniture. I don't have a bunch of clothes. Like all my clothes kind of fit into one load basically. Like I've got 4 pairs of shoes, and I keep it really fucking simple, and everything else is travel size because I travel a lot. So like think about these things, because you really don't need as much as you think, and still energetically everything that you have pulls on you even if you're not thinking about it. Like it's still dense energy that's just sitting around. Like why would you keep that shoebox of shit like when you could just get rid of it, and like your mind is going to be so much more calm because it's a clear space, right? Like it's also how we can visibly see it if you have access to seeing, right? So the second one is put something air related like on your altar if you have an altar practice. So it can be a room spray. Some people actually use fans. I collect feathers from my ancestors and feathers that Ma'at leaves, and I bind them myself and I bless them and I put those on my altar. So anything related to air or like Gemini-ish, I would put them on your altar right now to call in that energy even more. Even if you want to use scales, right? Because scales are about choice as well, and also about duality, and working with Ma'at is also going to be a great energy to work with as well. If you haven't worked with them, you know, my rule number one is like, you never call to deities unless they have called to you first. So if you have a practice where you work with Ma'at, I highly recommend you do it now. And another one is organize your life. So this is aside from just your physical things, like organize your actual calendar, get a ritual going, make things easier on yourself. If you have bills, like set them up on auto pay if you can, or like make a plan to be so financially sovereign and articulate in a way for yourself. It doesn't mean you have to be like externally for other people, but for yourself. So it's not something that you have to think about. And one of the things that I tell people is to create a money practice on Thursdays, because Thursday's a very lucky day to do any of your finances and work with money and frequency and all sorts of things. So create rituals for yourself so you have a schedule to follow. I know I'm gonna be redoing mine because my life changed again. So now's the perfect time to be doing that. And then number 4, choose a new life. So when you're creating your ritual, mentally, energetically, physically, even with your vision board, if you create one, choose that life and keep choosing it every day as you're transitioning out of your old way of living. Because a lot of people right now in the collective are ready for this newness, ready to move forward. And now every single day you choose your new life actively, right? And maybe every once in a while you might slip into your old ways, and then you go back to choosing even more. So then it becomes a part of how you exist every single day. And you can ask yourself, like, would I be doing this if I was living my new life? Like sometimes I have to like pause, because sometimes you don't even realize it. It's like, no, I would not be doing this. I'm going to get rid of this. Like, talk to yourself if you need to do it. Keep it simple, but consciously choose your new life moving forward, and use this energy of Gemini and Sagittarius to help you and build in fun. So you make it really like inviting for yourself. In my coaching program, I call it like curating your space. So you basically curate your space so then everything around you invites you to flow through energy in a certain way. It's what I teach my clients to do. Like, it's basically a foolproof plan for like you go to the gym every single time because of how your space is curated, how your energy is curated now, that you don't have to think about it. So do that for yourself, help yourself to move forward and make it really fun. And then another one is actively put yourself out there. So since this energy is all about communication, moving forward, being adventurous, now's the time for you to be visible in front of people. Just like myself, I'm on social media way more now because I'm a part of this energy. I'm moving forward. If you are an artist, like, make sure you are performing like as much as you can, even if it's in a cafe or in your neighborhood or for your family, or you go stream on TikTok, you go stream on YouTube, doesn't matter. You sit there and you just talk to the camera, right? Like, you don't overthink it. People want to get to know you. People love real people. So don't be afraid to show your beautiful colors. Like, you're meant to be seen. So just be seen. And if it feels uncomfortable, just be within that uncomfortable feeling and then tell people, I'm uncomfortable right now. Like, who isn't uncomfortable, right? So just kind of let it go. I wanted to share this with you all. And I also just wanted to invite you again that if you have any spiritual help or questions that you need help with, make sure you come on Thursday, sign up for the class. The description has the link right at the top. I'm going to be there giving live coaching. I also do energy readings, so I help you. I see where you're at. I give you Ayurvedic tips. If you have more advanced clairs, I will also coach you through that as well. If you have hoodoo practices, like whatever it is, you can ask any sort of question. And a lot of people were also asking double questions like later on, because we were just heavy into the conversation and it took quite a few more hours than I thought it was going to go. But I love that stuff. It doesn't feel like work. It just feels like bonding with a community. So if it sounds like something that you want to do, please join us on Thursday. It's going to be so much fun. I would love to meet you. Again, I'm sending you all lots of love, lots of hugs. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get notified when I drop all of these fun videos, and you get first dibs on anything that I share, especially in the community. So be kind to each other, show each other love, go be the light beings that you're meant to be. And I hope you all have a beautiful Gemini full moon. I'll see you later.